Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good evening and welcome. It's Christmas Day, nighttime now. You have found my podcast, and I warmly welcome you to my family. And tonight we're going to fight CPS and stop taking our children. I'm your host, Bob Pace, and I'm glad that you found me. And it is a hard thing to fight CPS. Hi, Margaret King. Good evening, Margaret King. Margaret is from St. Louis, Missouri, a really remarkable woman who's been on my show a lot lately. I'm glad to see you here. Also, we had Brandy White came on at 11 o'clock after my show was over, and she's a new member on YouTube. And I want to welcome Brandy White. If you're still around, that's great. I'm on at 7 o'clock at night, Pacific Standard Time. That's the west coast of California. And then I get on at 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. And I'm so glad to have you here join my podcast. This is a daily podcast, 7 days a week, twice a day. That's 14 shows a week. The only exception to my time is on Saturday and Sunday. I come on at 8 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock. Saturday is Vincent's Question and Answers podcast, and then I have church on Sunday. But other than that, you'll find me at the regular times. There may be times I change my time. I'll let you know. Also, sometimes Vincent has shows, and I have to postpone my show to accommodate when he wants his shows. So, with further ado, I'd like to first tell you that there are 4 ways that you can interact with this podcast. One of the first ways is just being in this room with me. You can do emojis, and you can send hearts and thumbs up and smiley faces. Also, you can send stars. Please check below to follow me, and if you want to be notified when I'm on, please check that button. Now, you just heard Mr. Davis talk about his school and about his Saturday podcasts and about his experience as a juvenile family dependency lawyer. He's also a trial lawyer. He's 39 years fighting CPS. And his number of his office is on the screen, 888-888-6582. If you want to retain Mr. Davis and have him be your attorney, you can reach him there. Just tell the office that Bob Pace sent you, and that when you speak to Mr. Davis, tell him that Bob Pace sent you. But he is an excellent pit bull fighter. He's also a trial attorney, and he has also done, after your case is over, have done civil lawsuits with your constitution or civil rights violated. And he's won millions of dollars. So he's the real deal. His office is in Arcadia, south of LA. He does work in Riverside, San Bernardino, Orange County, and Los Angeles County. Also, he does cases up north in Northern California, and he has a state going to Oklahoma. He will come out to states. His fee is based on how long the case has been going on, how difficult it is. That's his legal fees. When he travels, he has per diem fees, such as ground transportation, air transportation, hotel, and food when he's away from home. And so those are the only added expenses he's had, but he can practice law any state, anywhere. And you need to have an attorney. And since I'm talking about attorneys, that's my rule number one. If you're involved in CPS, it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare. If you don't know who CPS is, I call it the Child Protection System. Every entity, whether what state it is, whatever it is, every county has an entity that's supposed to protect their children from neglect and abuse. They may call it different names, but it's all boils down the same. Protect children from neglect and abuse. Also, they're supposed to help out family in need in the areas of food and shelter and clothing and transportation, education, medical, and help you find a job. And if they need to break your family because the children are in danger, they're supposed to do family reunification. And that means where the parent will take some parenting classes or a program because of drug problems or something like that. Because studies have shown the best parents are the biological parents to raise their children. So I really want to welcome you all. And I know how hard it is, especially at Christmas time. It's a holiday. Now, I consider all of you like my family. There's a lot of regulars like Margaret that came in from St. Louis, Missouri. And Brandy is new now, and I don't know if she's still on because she came on real early during not my show time. So let me see here. Okay, Margaret's sharing something. She said, without Mr. Davis, I probably would not have made this far. Now, that's a good compliment to Mr. Davis. I'm glad to see that. Without Mr. Davis, I probably would not have made it this far. Oh, we repeated again. I didn't catch that. Also, just being on your podcast, Bob, and listening to others helps me learn more about CPS. Well, I'm so glad that the people on here, the family members on here, have helped you, and I've helped you. I, too, have been involved in CPS. I've been fighting them for 15 years. I have 6 children that I've raised. 3 of them were stolen by CPS. They're trafficked into foster care, and they're alienated from us parents, from my wife and I. I have 42 years of marriage, so I have some experience about life skills. And so I'm hoping that I can help you all with what's happened to me and how my family was broken apart and how my life was suddenly turned upside down, which I know that most of you are going through that right now. Margaret further says, this is all new to me. I have never had such a horrible experience or entanglement. Entanglement, yes. I know, Margaret, we aren't born. You know, when you buy a car, you get an owner's manual. You buy a TV, you get an owner's manual. Anything you buy, you always have a manual about it. But when you're born, you're not given with a manual. You're brought up by your parents, and hopefully your parents will show and teach you a lot. But things like CPS or working with your taxes and the IRS or anything else that comes across, you have to learn it sometimes the hard way or sometimes from others. Because I believe that life skills should be taught all your life. When you first go to preppy kindergarten, or you go through elementary school or in middle school or in high school or even in college, you should be taking life skill classes. Things like bullying when you're really young, about how to deal with bullying, how to deal with problems at home, how to deal with a lot of things. Like later on, you have dating and socializing, you have marriage, and you have CPS, and you learn about sex and drugs and so forth, and what to do on a date and stuff. These are life skills that can be taught all the time, and they should be a part of the curriculum. I know they talk about the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. And I don't know how they get arithmetic out of an R, the 3 R's. Anyway, besides how to read, how to write, and math, there's things like life skills that should be taught also. Things that are every day: how to wash dishes, how to sew, how to babysit, how to report a crime, how to do CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Things that are just that'd be easy to learn. If you're choking, how to alleviate your choking problem. There's lots of things that life skills can teach and so forth. Now, Margaret further says, let me put that up there so I can read that. She says that she's been through a lot of ups and downs, and I know about a lot of ups and downs, but this is the worst I've ever experienced in my life. I just want this behind me soon. I want it all to go away. I agree. CPS is so bad, so corrupt, and you guys are in here probably through no fault of your own. It happens to anybody out there. You're going through hard times. You're making a change. Let's say your relationship change. The father of your children, the mother of your children no longer wants to be a participant. You may have trouble with your teenagers as they go through their teenage years. All these things that will get you into trouble with CPS. And you think you can trust them and lean on them, but you can't. Now, I know they're good child protection social workers out there. Now, I call CPS a child protection system. And as I told you, it's supposed to protect us from abuse and neglect. They're also supposed to, if they need to take the family apart, do family reunification. That means they have the parents take classes on how to get better. Because biologically speaking, the best parents are the biological parents. Not biologically speaking, but speaking from experience. The biological parents are the best parents to raise our children. And raising our children is a hard thing to do. And it's a heartache when they're suddenly taken from us, as CPS notoriously does. It's really a tough thing that CPS does. Now, Margaret says the most painful part of the whole process is worrying about the kids and the CPS's hands. I agree. Every day 1,000 cases go unreported that children are being abused and hurt. There's so many issues there. And, we're trusted CPS knows what to do, but they don't. The social workers that the people on my show told me about don't have much of an education. They don't even have a high school. Mine did not have a high school degree or a college degree. No mentoring with a more experienced social worker so they'll know how to do it right. None of that was taking place. So they're thrust in the thing of it, and they've learned to greed about money. Money has taken possession of a lot of the social workers. I wouldn't say all, but CPS is $1 trillion business. Trillions of dollars. How can a public agency, which one moment, please. How can a public agency, which is supposed to spend its resources on the family and children, go rogue? And it's all called greed. Money is, as I hate to say, the greed of evil. It takes possession of us all. Now, there's a lot of good people, don't get me wrong. And I'm not trying to talk in absolute, but I've talked to over 700 people on here in all 50 states and including Washington, D.C. I've also talked to about 20 countries now. 20 countries from Bangladesh to India to the Middle East, which is several countries. Africa, which I have, is 6 countries. Then Europe is 8 countries. Across the pond to North America is 3 countries there. And then 1 in South America. Then across Pacific, I have Australia and New Zealand. So that's a wide diversity of people. They all have CPS issues. The sad part is children are being killed in CPS's hands. There's a case about a Macon woman from Macon, Georgia, that lost her young child because he left in a ball pit of colorful balls, and the kids played on it until he trampled to death. He was only 8 months old, and CPS was responsible for his death. And the mother was on my show, and it was terrible. It was terrible to hear that about a poor child there. There are horror stories I've heard. I have one person from South Africa, Laika, who her daughter was molested by a 38-year-old man, sticking objects inside her and doing things that are not appropriate. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it's a horrible thing out there. I'm glad you're talking tonight, Margaret. If you want to come on the show, I can put my number up. You can call. Families are very difficult to deal with. Anyone else outside of that is double trouble. Yeah, I agree. Families is really hard. And I hate to say it, families abuse the CPS system to alienate from one another. They're lay people, and they'll call in false report because they don't like the neighbor's yard growing on theirs. Their dog barks too much, so they thought they'd retaliate. And that is wrong. That is wrong. Margaret further says, I went to see my grandbabies yesterday. I feel like calling the health department. They had this area rug for children to sit on. It was filthy dirty. That is hard, Margaret. That is really hard. I concur with you that there's a lot of badness that does happen in there. Now, I do want to tell you all how they interact in this podcast, and by being here is great, but a second way is you can text some messages what Margaret's doing. All I ask is your first name, the city or county where your case was, and the state. And if you're from another country, please establish your country and your province if you don't have a state there, as well as all the other information. And also try to be complete with your case so that we all know and we can help you better that way, so I don't have to ask and play ping pong ball back and forth. Now, a third way is to be a guest on my podcast. And I have a show producer. Her name is Grace. I want to thank her behind the scenes. She works really hard. And she helps make this podcast possible. All you have to do is email her, grace@vincentwdavis.com. grace@vincentw.com. And you can be on my podcast. I can take 9 people at a time. Me makes 10. I can only do 10 people on the podcast. But you all can be talking, seeing the comments, and helping one another. So I encourage you to be my guest and send her an email. Pick one of my 14 shows, evening, morning, Sunday through Monday. That's all you have to tell her. And she'll take care of the rest. She'll tell you what to do and don't do and how to set things up. Now, a third way is I'm going to put my phone number up. That means you can call in right now live at 626-698-0990. That is my office number. I'm reaching that number, and I use Vonage is the application that I'm using there on the phone. And so it can text and do messages. Now, I only talk on that phone during my show time hours. I do not talk in other times. So you have to keep that understood that I don't. So I'll leave my phone number on. And the last thing I have below my screen is a ticket if you want to talk to Mr. Davis. For 30 minutes, I have a special deal of $60 for 30 minutes to talk to Mr. Davis in a private Zoom call. All you have to do is visit that website, sign up for the time you want and pay the $60, and you'll get a 30-minute private consultation with him. And he help navigate you and help you get through CPS. I know it's hard. I know it's really, really hard. And I know what you're going through. I really feel bad for you all out there because, I still go through it. I still got my nightmares and stuff. Now, Margaret says, I used to see my grandbabies yesterday. I went to see, she talked about the rug being dirty. I agree. We've already covered that. I'm sorry. We have a new person here, and her name is Melissa. Welcome, Melissa. And she has raised her grandson. He is 3 DSS got involved. I think you're talking about CPS. So, Melissa, you've raised your grandson. He is 3 years old, and CPS got involved with his LA and have taken him to Fearments. I need some help, Melissa. First of all, I got your name from the YouTube, so you got your name on here. I need to know what city or county that the case is in or where you're from and the state. And I assume that DSS is Department of Social Services. So I think you say your grandson, he's 3. And Department of Social Service, CPS, got involved with his, I don't know what LA means. I don't know if you mean Los Angeles, California, has taken him to Fremets. Maybe you can help me a little bit better there and help me understand that a little bit better there, Melissa. Oh, good. You did, I think, further down here. Now, Margaret says, you would think with all the trillions of dollars they make, they would have a presentable and more comfortable visitation area. The couches you can literally sit on the springs. Oh, that's terrible. I agree. The money doesn't go to where it should go. Now, Melissa, from somewhere, I don't know where you're from, Melissa. Let me see. They've taken my grandsons twice from you on things his parents have done. Okay. I think we have a situation, I'm going to guess here, that his parents are not very good. Maybe there's some problems with the parents. And you being the grandmother, are trying to watch after them. Maybe you need to adopt them or be a guardian of them while the parents work out their differences or difficulties. Maybe that's what you have to do, Melissa. Okay, Melissa further says, I'll start over. Hey, no problem, Melissa. I know it's hard, and I know that you're doing your best. If you want to call in you can call into my number, and it's 626-698-0990. And I'd love to hear from you. And you can start your case over. That's okay. Take your time. Take your time. Now, Melissa further says, okay, I've raised my 3-year-old grandson. His parents are in jail for drugs and child abuse. He came back with night terrors. That is hard. And I know what you can do if you are the grandson, so you must be the parent of one of the two parents. That daughter or the son must be the one that has your grandson. Now, if they abuse the child and have drug problems, they can get that fixed. But what you should maybe think about is temporary guardianship. That means where you take over from them legally until the parents get better, or if the parents keep doing badness, they'll end up with terminating rights. They'll have the TPR, the terminate parental rights. That's what a TPR is. And that will happen soon. It will happen soon. And I'm sorry that your son's going through that. Now, we'll point out that if you call in or you're a guest on my podcast, you'll get a free 15-minute consultation with Mr. Davis. So that's important to know, that you can talk to the top attorney in the country and get a consultation of 15 minutes for free. A private Zoom meeting is what will take place. Now, someone just gave me a thumbs up, and that was Lori. Hi, Lori. Lori comes on my podcast. I think she's been on almost 866 podcasts that I've done. I've been on for over a year. And she has always been on my podcast. And I think she's had a case herself, and she still to this day has not told me what the case was about. Maybe she was involved in foster care. I don't know. But all you that are listening, you're welcome to text in. You're welcome to call in. There's 2 ways that you can get a free 15-minute. That's either be a guest on my show and talk, or call in and talk. By doing so, you get entitled to a free 15-minute session with Vincent Davis. We have the 30-minute session for $60. So we have several ways you can interact with Mr. Davis. Also, his live podcast from time to time, you can hear him. So my rule number 1 always talks about an attorney, because most of you end up getting court-appointed attorneys or a public defender. That's because you don't have money to afford one, or maybe you don't know better. Having a public defender or a court-appointed attorney, they're not schooled or trained in dependency law, either with families or juveniles. That's the area of expertise you got to be in, and they're in criminal law. Also, they have a case of 30 or more clients. They won't have time for your case to meet with you at your place or their office, whatever. The only time you see them is when you have your hearings. Now, I want to emphasize to all of you that try to have a settlement conference right at the beginning. What I mean by a settlement conference, with your attorney, you need to ask him, can you sit down and talk about your case and maybe make a plan to take some classes that they feel you need, or do a program that you need, and not have to go to trial. The worst thing you want to do is not go to trial. You do not want to go to trial, because it'd be a nightmare. That's where they're on the road to taking away your children. That way they're on the road to taking care of your children. All right, we got a caller. Good evening and welcome. And who am I talking to? You may have to turn down your background sound. Yeah, who is this? Who's this I'm speaking to? Oh, glad to meet you, Melissa. You're the one that's been talking to me about your grandson. A warm welcome, and a Merry Christmas to you. Where are you located? Where are you from?
I'm in North Carolina.
North Carolina. You were one of those people that had the horrible hurricane that came through and flooded.
Yeah, we were lucky.
You were missed. Well, fortunate God was protecting you. That is good to hear. I've talked to so many of you that are fighting to keep your kids, and they social workers says because your home went down the river, they're going to take your kids away, which is wrong. They should have flown in trailers with the National Guard and put them down in areas where the area is dry. Right. So you're right. So your grandson has been abused, or
no.
Okay. By go ahead.
Raised him, and his parents got in trouble with drugs, and they were charged with felony child abuse, not with him, because he was with me, on his youngest sibling. Okay, DSS came to my home. Everything's been good. They even give me, I don't know, foster care or foster parent. I don't see it that way. He's my grandson. But
Yeah.
him, my mommy. I don't even know if he knows his parents or his parents.
Okay.
But because they come in like everybody else does.
Okay.
Okay, they took him and they placed him with his paternal grandmother, which has been known since he's been born. He didn't know her. He comes back, they give him back to me, he comes back, night terrors. The car was on my driveway, and he would run to me screaming, afraid somebody was going to take him. I'm certified in child psychology, but I get this, and all of that goes out the window. I think we're unthinking. And I get it back. Okay, December 17th, we got a court. I'm told I'm going to be getting guardianship. I get in the courtroom, I didn't take this. I did. I did, and I get to daycare. The lady comes out, and she don't have a clue what I'm talking about. I said through DSS. She's like, they haven't contacted me. So I leave, contact DSS, and we'll take care of it. When the guardian ad litem goes and tells the judge I've done none of this. The funny thing is, the guardian ad litem had seen me once, and that was 2 days prior to our court date. And this play date so my grandson could see my youngest grandson. 40 minutes the whole time. In 6 months? The guardian ad litem has not come to my home. I didn't know anything about the guardian ad litem until I seen her at the play date. That she had such a significant role in this court date. And she gets there, and now my grandson is going to get placed with paternal grandmother, which the guardian ad litem and paternal grandmother had, I don't know what their friendship is, but I wasn't spoken to in this play date. It was just her and the other grandmother. I didn't even know this was a guardian ad litem until we got to court to know who this was at the play date. And I don't know what to do to get him back.
They're gonna play games. They're gonna play games with you and your emotions. They're gonna promise one thing and do another.
Oh, they're already done. I mean, they took him again away from me and placed him with the other paternal grandmother, which he don't know. She's never had anything to do with him. They put him back in the house. The first time it was only 4 nights. This time he's been there since December 17th. I've not been allowed to talk to him. I've not seen him. I've called DSS, guardian ad litem. Now, nothing will talk to me now. And our mom is taking him. And I don't know where to go. And now they're saying I've got to wait a month because his lawyer is only here I can't file emergency custody because the lawyer's already made their decision. So, I mean, I've got to get him back, and I don't know where to go.
Yeah, it is a hard situation because right now the child protection system does not recognize grandparents or other relatives. They only recognize the biological parents. That's all they want to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's really tough because
I've raised him.
you have done
Not
most of
a
the
pure
raising.
African
Yeah,
dog.
right.
From
So what you're going to have to
I've
do is you're going to get temporary guardianship, or if you want to get permanent guardianship and adopt a child, you can. But I think your first goal should be
I'm going to get permanent.
you're going to get permanent. You want to adopt a
If
child.
I can find somebody to help me, I'm going to do what it takes to make sure he's not in this position again.
Right. Well, you can do that to get permanent guardianship, but you'll need some help from a legal attorney. Now, I don't know in North Carolina, are you near a big city or are you out in the suburbs?
You know, I'm like 2 hours from Raleigh. I'm between Raleigh and
Yeah, I know North Carolina a little bit. I'm only know on the coast part of North Carolina near Nags Head, that area there.
Okay, I'm like an hour and a half from there.
Yeah. So I know there's a lot of rural areas and so forth, but you need an attorney to help you. And it's really kind of tough because attorneys can be expensive. And so you need to find one that is right. And I would get 3 quotes on one. And since now, who has custody of the child right now? Who has the custody of the child?
CPS has custody of
Okay. The CPS organization in there is called DSS. I imagine it stands for Department of Social Services, right?
Yeah, it's
Right.
CPS, yeah.
Yeah, I just use the word CPS because everybody knows what it is, and I call it the system, the child protection system. So anyway, that that DSS, they're the one that have custody. So what you need to do is you need to get an attorney that has a background in what's called dependency law. Dependency law is what CPS uses. Also, it's supposed to be family law and juvenile intermixed with dependency law. So you need to ask an attorney. And one of the first things that you can ask the attorney is that, are you a juvenile family dependency lawyer who has fought CPS? And if the question's yes, then you want to ask the next question, have you ever sued CPS and won a case, won money from them? And if the answer is yes, that's the kind of attorney you want. But you should get 3 quotes because prices for retainers will vary from attorney to attorney. And so once you've nailed down the right attorney, then what you can do is that you can ask for guardianship. That means it's almost close to adoption. Adoption will sometimes take longer. Now, I know CPS loves using the foster care system. The foster care system is a cheap way of adoption. Parents don't have to wait that long. It's about 6 months, and there's no money involved. Where in normal adoption, it costs lots of money and takes years for you to adopt a child. But in the foster care system, it goes along pretty easy. The only sad part about it is most of the foster care people are not very good, and they're very destroying to the child. And I don't think you're that person. I think you just, want to do there.
Oh, no.
So what you need to do is get a guardianship. That's a little bit quicker, a little bit easier. That means you make the decisions for that child. You decide which school he goes to, which doctor he sees, and how he's going to better himself.
I was supposed to be written on the 17th. I mean, for certain, I was getting it on the 17th when we went to court. And then I get in there, and he's being taken away from me again. Where he got the guardian of my life. I mean, she got it. Instead, I didn't take him to doctor's appointments. I mean, I bent over backwards.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how they can lie and there's no consequences for it. I don't get it. I mean, that's not life. This little boy is terrified.
Yep. There. Let me answer a few questions I have on here. I have several questions, and my screen is somehow stuck here. There was a gentleman that came in. I don't know where he's from, but he wanted to sue CPS. In order to sue CPS, the case has got to be closed. Then you do what's called a civil lawsuit, and you want to pick either the civil rights or the constitutional rights were violated, and you need a special kind of attorney to do that. And so they can be done. It can be done. Now, Margaret, there's another question you had. Let me see. Someone else put this question up here. Okay, that's me saying my comments there. Okay. Let's see what Margaret says. Margaret, I may have missed a comment or two. From what I understand, they'll go after others in your family. That's true. I know Margaret had mentioned something that she found out that they're in LA. And so she was talking about that. Now, JD, hi, JT, and happy Christmas, JD. JD is from Pennsylvania, and welcome. We also have a new business, and you have a question. I don't know where you're from. Let's see. What can I do to protect my rights as a parent from being denied my designated visit time with my 1-year-old from the kinship caregiver who are my parents? Well, to protect your rights, you're going to need an attorney. And that is the only way you're going to be able to protect your rights, that can know the law and know how to work it. It's the hardest thing by using a attorney, and your child's only 1 year old and they're with caregivers, are your parents. Okay, so it looks like you your parents are taking care of your kids, and something must be going wrong in there. Where are you from, by the way, Nima? I don't know what city or state you're from or country you're from. Also, I have a comment here from Drew. Wow, what do I do if I've done everything they still want to do the adoption? You're going to have to do an appeal. Is what you have to do, Juvie Wild. I don't know where you're from, and but you got to do that. Now, let me get back to our caller right now, and she is from North Carolina, and she is trying to do a guardianship of her child. What other questions do you have that could help you with?
What would be the fastest way for me to get my husband back and then pursue getting parental rights, and what should my next step be to just get him back in my home?
Yeah. Well, have you tried the attorney route yet? Have you tried the attorney?
Well, it's the holidays, and I have called and I've left many messages. I'm hoping to get him back after the holidays.
Right. The holidays are a hard time. Are you able to see the child at all? Are you able to see your grandson at all?
I haven't spoken or talked to him since the day for 17th.
17th of what month?
Not a phone call. Last week.
Last week. Okay. That's not too long ago. What do you think made them change their mind? These guardian ad litem, you got to be careful. They have guardians ad litem, they have casas, they have ombuds persons. You can't trust them.
Well, I ran DSS's file. DSS said to keep the children placed where they were, that this guardian ad litem. And I know who she is. She don't like me very well. But I never thought there's no way that has nothing to do with what's going on with my husband.
No, see, you have to understand, all these people are getting kickbacks from social services. They're getting kickbacks from CPS, meaning they're getting 4 to 5 to 6 hours. Their special needs, they get additional 2 to 3,000 per month, and they get also there's tax credits. You see, for doing adoption, people are given tax credits, $3,000 or $4,000 deductions, so it puts them in a lower tax bracket, and so there's a lot of abuse that's going on. A lot of times people aren't taking them. I know they're doing it for the tax benefit or the money that they get. And it's sad. I've seen mothers go after the child because they get money from Social Security. Her daughter may have had a child, and the mother wants to go after the child. They get additional money. And there's a lot of wrong things that are being done out there. A lot of wrong things.
I don't know anybody that can be parent or become a parent. And I mean that kind of was there that I just don't know how people can go there. I don't know how it can be done.
Yeah.
And even have a home.
Right.
Cautious.
Right. Now, new mine business is from Iowa. She finally told me where she's from. And she says they denied my visitation just because my brother was in town. And they wanted time alone with my brother. No reason to deny the time other than they felt like it. No reason whatsoever. And this is where I guess the mother of the child, who her parents have possession of the child. Let me see.
Who gives them the power?
Newman has a child that her parents now have possession of it. And she said, I may be a week of not seeing my son. I'm supposed to have 3 separate visitations this week, but they prioritized times with the family. Also let me see my son for Christmas when I'm supposed to. I know the holiday is the worst time. The problem is you need an attorney to fight for you, Newman. And I don't know how old you are, but you need to have someone work in your behalf. You need to have somebody work in your behalf. This is hard. This is hard because it's like you're doing open heart surgery fighting CPS. That's how hard it is. In open heart surgery, you don't cut open the heart. You get a doctor. And that's why you need an attorney. So many people, I can't afford one. I know you can't afford one. But I had to do drastic measures. I had to sell my home to get myself an attorney because I wanted my family back more than my home. My home had taken 45 years to earn and get, and I lost that home. I did a quick sell, but I got the money to get my attorney and got my children back. I got 2 of the 3 that were stolen from me. Unfortunately, my daughter was tricked by CPS, where they told her since she was 12 years old that you can divorce your parents, change your name, seal your birth certificate, get readopted, get a new Social Security card, and be adopted into foster care so quick. The social worker was doing revenge because we caught her lying on the stand. My attorney, who happened to be Vincent Davis, caught her in an outright lie, and she committed perjury on the stand, and she could be sued. And so she wanted to do retaliation. So she told my 12-year-old daughter what to do, and my 12-year-old daughter didn't know any better, followed her directions. So now she's divorced from her mom, her dad, her 3 brothers, her 2 sisters, all her aunts and cousins, her grandparents. It's really sad. It is really, really, really sad. And so that's why you need an attorney. You need an attorney. Go on. You can talk some more here.
I wanted to know who gives these people all this power?
I mean, how do these people get the power?
Yeah,
Well, what happened was we've been trying to protect our children since early as 1600s. CPS has divided the history of taking children into three segments, from 1600 to 1875, from 1875 to 1962, and 1962 to the present. It is a government, Congress mandated that a part of social services will protect our children from neglect and abuse. It used to be children's societies used to protect our children. We had the sweatshops where children under the age would work 10 and 15-hour days. And, and their work is very hard times and stuff. So we've corrected a lot of things, but we still have problems because right now we have no control over the social workers. There's only a director, in charge of his area in the county, but there's no board of supervisors or directors that oversees all the counties or even keeps track of how the money's being spent. So it's very corrupt. All the money comes, you wonder why the federal government's always out of money. It's throwing money to these programs. They give out lots, $1 trillion a year. They give out to the counties, who in turn give it to the agencies that are supposedly helping. And they're making lots of incentives and bonuses. Like President Clinton in 1997 signed into law called the Family Act, where they give incentives to the child protection system, money incentives for $5,000 if they get the child into foster care. They don't like family unification because it takes too long. It takes too long. It may take a year. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. In the beginning, one of the social workers said to me, if you lie, then don't. Honestly, I thought it was a joke. They won't do this. I've never lied to them, but I'm just saying, they should that out there. If you lie, they're gone. And if you don't tell us the truth, they're gone. And I'm thinking to myself, I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
And my grandson just don't. I didn't lie to them. They can do whatever they want to. Anything. And it's not right. Especially with these babies. I'm wrong. I can handle my own. But these babies, it's not fair to them.
Yep. I had to go back to F Junior. I don't know where you're from or anything, but I got your message, and I did tell you how you can do your lawsuit. Please come back and tell me where you're at so I can know that going in there. And also, I want to catch up a little bit here. Geez. Well, now it didn't. I had it for a second there and lost it again. I'm having trouble with my computer. It's doing something, and they checked it out. They couldn't find anything wrong. But what happens is that when I scroll, I know JD came in the room, and that's where I left off at. And Margaret has a lot of messages about her, I guess her son and his wife. They were in LA, and it just happened today that the kids were taken from them. Margaret says, boy, hold on a second here. My daughter-in-law is on the completion of her residency, soon to be a pediatrician. My son is an excellent father. Margaret further says, I don't think your status makes a difference, or the year and education, nor non-education, rich or poor. If they see an opportunity, they're going to eat it up. You're right about CPS. They take advantage of people because they don't know. People don't know how to fight CPS or deal with CPS. it's really, 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 really hard there. Margaret further says, let me put it up there so I can see it here. I'll blow it up so I can see it here. I don't think a person's status, whether educated or not educated, rich or poor, if they see an opportunity to go after it, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. Margaret says, I was told today just because my son gets mail here at my home, I'm not getting my girls back according to the resource parents. Well, that's ridiculous. Sheesh, CPS is so bad. It's unbelievable. And all of you are from different parts of the country. That isn't because of one state or another, Kate. And I feel your pain, Bob. Yeah, I understand. I feel for all of you. I treat every one of you, including Melissa, who's on the phone with me from North Carolina. Are you still there? Melissa, I hear you, but you're not saying anything. Are you still there, Melissa? Okay, we lost Melissa. I'm going to try to reestablish and get her call back. It's getting close to 8 o'clock, and soon I'll have to. It is 8 o'clock, so I pretty much are going to have to end it right now. I've gone over my time, and I want to thank all of you for listening. I want to thank Margaret from Missouri for her comments, Melissa from North Carolina, JD from Pennsylvania. There's another person from Iowa. I think it's called Nabeth. I can't go back because they now have, oh boy. So anyway, I want to thank you all for calling in. Some of you are new. I hope you join me again. You're all part of the family. And I really thank you. And I want you to have a Merry Christmas and a good New Year up ahead. But our main thing, our focus should be, is to keep fighting for our children. I feel for you. I care for you. I pray for you. I hope it doesn't happen as bad as has happened to me or the other people in here. So please keep coming back. There'll be a special message from my attorney. And I got to go. So I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And with that said, this is Bob Pace signing off.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Faith, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.